Hello, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. I've got with me today Tricia Chambers, and we're going to be talking about Twitter Spaces, which is something really, really new and exciting. Before we get into talk about Twitter Spaces, Tricia, where can people find you?
Hi, thanks for having me, Tim. You can find me at somemarketing.com. That's www.somemarketing.com. And you can also catch me on Twitter, which I am at Tricia Marketing. That's Tricia Marketing. And also connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. But I spend most of my time on Twitter. I have to be said.
You're a big Twitter person.
I am, yes.
I'm a big Twitter person as well. So it's always nice to meet a fellow Twitter-esque.
Yeah, I think I fell back in love with it over lockdown. Well, just prior to lockdown, and even more so during lockdown. I think you either love it or you hate it. But I've really enjoyed watching as it's developed, particularly with what we're going to be talking about today, which is Twitter Spaces, and how that's evolved and how that came about. And it only launched actually a year ago. So November 2020 was when Twitter Spaces launched.
So myself and our company, we invested about 3 months of time in Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And we realized after before we went in, we actually had a meeting. We said, what's our objective here?
Yeah.
And we were very, very clear what that was. And after about 3 months, we then said, we set this objective. We're not achieving this objective.
Yeah.
We're gonna withdraw. And we did do that.
Yeah.
And I'm still glad that we did that. But what's the allure of Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, and why are they different, etc.?
Okay, so let's take it back really briefly to Clubhouse. If you don't know what Clubhouse is, it's social audio listening.
It's like the radio, isn't it? You're basically just listening to people.
Yeah, and you can get involved, and that's developed even more so. And the main difference between both of the platforms is Clubhouse is a standalone platform, which is purely social audio. Obviously, Twitter has been around for years, and you've got sort of the gravitas behind Twitter that you don't have with Clubhouse.
So there's people that have got, for example, already got a following. You're able to, in effect, use that.
Yeah, it's pre-existing on Twitter. And I think the main thing to remember is, and this is what I like about Twitter, because I did the same thing as you back in January, earlier this year. I did a huge deep dive, spent about, 3-4 days, literally 24/7 in Clubhouse, trying to sort of understand, work out, navigate, and see what the pros and cons were. How would it work for business? How could you make money? All that kind of stuff, networking. And then I dipped out of it because, like you, personally, for me, I couldn't see how it was working. You don't have a following already existing as you do with Twitter. But not only that, Twitter's got more of the technology behind it. It's got more of the trust, the know, like, and trust thing behind it. And it's a little bit more newsworthy, if that makes sense, and also good for networking. It's where all the business people hang out. It's kind of like a little bit more of an informal LinkedIn. So that's how people refer to it. But I think what we're going to talk about today is Twitter Spaces, and Twitter Spaces for small business owners, how you can use it, how you can monetize it. And it's going to be huge for 2022. And if you're not embracing it at the moment and putting your feelers out there, you're going to really lose out, particularly when you're planning for 2022. Social audio listening is going to be a big deal. I mean, even, for example, last Friday evening, I was in a room with an author of the new book, which is all about NBC. And the lady that was in there, and I've forgotten her name, so please excuse me. The lady that was in there was the actress that played the main character in The Sopranos. There was about 70 or 80 of us in the room. It was quite late in the evening, and I just happened to jump in the room. But there's a lot going on. There is so much that you can learn. But not only that, it's a good way to position yourself as an authority, build your community, make connections, learn new things. The one thing as a business owner is time, and being able to utilize that time and being able to network outside of your community, outside of your network, but also create your own community and your own rooms where you can drive the narrative. And it's free, and you can do it in your pajamas, but you can still run your own business, and then you can take it offline, and that's where the money comes. So
one of the great things that I liked about social audio is that you're in a position where you're able to demonstrate that you're an expert at something.
100%.
Because buyers are looking for an expert.
Yeah.
You know, I've got this business problem. I need someone to solve it, and so Twitter Spaces enables you to demonstrate that expertise, and it also, because it's audio, it allows you to have conversations. By the way, sorry everybody, Tricia's got a really bad cold.
I apologize.
She's very bravely decided to carry on and to do this today, so she will cough. She may cough a bit, but please bear with me.
Please bear with me. I'm sorry about that.
Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, I mean, I've already, since I was an early adopter of it, and I'm an Android user, and I will drop some information over to Tim, and Tim will be able to share it with all of you as to where you can get some more information about Twitter Spaces, or contact me, and we can go through it. Happy to talk, message, whichever is the easiest way for you to communicate. Just ask away. And I'm going to be starting a series as well soon. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to start next week, which will be a weekly series. But it's the brilliant thing about it is you don't need to be tech savvy. And I think that puts a lot of people off with things like podcasting and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And because it's still quite early doors for Twitter Spaces, what's happening at the moment is most of the features have all been rolled out now to both Android and iOS. And you now have the ability to record spaces, which is brilliant. What they're working on at the moment, and every Friday, GMT UK time, on Twitter, the Twitter Spaces, if you just go to Twitter Spaces, just type it in the search and you'll find it. They have an update. So we all go into a Twitter Spaces room. There's, hundreds of us from around the world. And they're all talking, like the people that are behind Twitter development, talk about the updates, and you can ask questions, all that kind of stuff. And then they go away and they iterate until it gets rolled out. And the good thing is, and this is what we're all really pushing for at the moment, who are all kind of early adopters, is the ability to be able to take the Twitter Spaces recording and turn it into a podcast. Right. And it streamlines the whole process. So it takes away all the tech stuff, really, that possibly keeps a lot of people from being able to, do a podcast or do anything that requires a little bit more. It's all done from your phone. It's not available on desktop as of yet in terms of opening a Twitter Space. You can watch it, but you can't actually open it. It's all done as is with Clubhouse, is on your phone, on your handset. The number of people that can go in the room is unlimited. I think the main thing that I wanted to talk about is, as you were saying, is you can get in a room with people and the decision makers are there in that room. So much easier than dropping them an email or making phone calls or going to a networking event, which you may not have that chance to have that face-to-face contact. They're in a room and you literally just request the mic and you can ask that question. Cuts out everything.
It's a very democratic feel to it, which is so if we go, so in effect, Twitter Spaces is, think of it as a room that you stand in, and what you're going to do is you're going to listen to people speak. But the great thing, as you say, is that you can say, actually, I want to come up and stand on the stage. So you can just listen, or you can actually join in the conversation and go on the stage and say, and add your piece to that.
Yeah, I think the difference that you have Clubhouse, they refer to it as rooms, and Twitter Spaces, it's a space because it's a safe space. Yes. So you don't need to ask a question. If you want to just come in and listen And if you want to learn, you can connect with other people in the room, you can take information away. And the good thing about it is while you're in a room, you can also check out the other people that are in the room. Everybody who's got their bios, hopefully, would have their bios with all the correct links and stuff. So you've got that pre-existing, you've already got that little bit of safety there, that you know who you're talking to, you know who you're connecting with, and you can make that choice. You don't really have that with Clubhouse. But also, I think the main thing is, if you're looking, depending on, you know, what it is you're doing and what your business goals are, the potential to go global is enormous. And it takes, Twitter gives you not just the technology behind it, and not just, you know, the fact that you've got Twitter's reputation. It's the fact that you can take those relationships offline. I'm already in a few small sort of hidden Twitter groups for Twitter Spaces, which I think you're in the same one as well. And it's great. We're all kind of learning from each other. We're growing. We're finding things out. People are working together. People are collaborating. So if you go into it with an open mind, I just think, for me, for small business owners in particular, and SMEs where time's tight, you don't always have the time to go to a networking event or anything like that, this is perfect.
Because you can do it at the time that you want.
Yeah.
As you said, you can sit in your PJs and do it.
Yeah, and you don't have to be Zoom ready, but also you can create your own community and your own safe. So, for example, there's quite a lot of there's different things. You name it, there is a room or a space for it. But you know, creators go in there. I was in a room the other night, which had I couldn't believe it. If you're a football fan, I'm sure, and you're on Twitter, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's singing your own anthem in your own in your own language, in your own voice. And I went into that room, and all the major football clubs were in there. It was just phenomenal. I've never seen so many blue ticks. And the gentleman that was running the room, everybody was being called up. You request the mic, you call up, and you just sing out your football anthem. Terribly, I have to say, but it was just so much fun. So there's that aspect of it as well. So it's the social interaction thing, but I think with social audio, it's going to be big. And I think if you're going to do it, you should do it, and you need to do it and put it into your marketing mix, particularly as a small business owner, because it's so much better for you to be able to utilize your time, but also to build those connections and then take them offline. And then, you know, you can grow those out, but also build your business and grow your business. So I mean,
so what you can do is you go into a space.
Yeah.
You can talk about a subject. So if you're selling whatever you're selling, you don't actually go on there and pitch. What you do is you go on there and you talk around the subject that will show the expertise that you have, and people come in and they will listen to you, and they can debate. But the thing is what you can start doing is growing relationships, and actually building your network globally, as you said.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you're, what you sell. Some people want to sell globally, some people don't. But but the fact that you're still growing your relationships or building your network globally is going to help you in some sort of shape or form.
Yeah, 100%. I always believe in the 7 degree. I think it's the 7 degrees of separation or something like that.
Yes.
But somebody always knows somebody, and even if your business is UK based and you're small, and maybe you click and you connect with somebody in another country, you know, they're going to know someone else who's going to know someone else who's going to say no, and it will come full circle back to you when somebody says, do you know anybody who does this or has this? And they can be, yes, recommend you.
And part of being one of the reasons why you go to networking events as a business owner is to be front of mind.
100%.
It's about word of mouth. So if there's lots of different networking groups, and the idea is you go along and people will go, oh yeah, if you want a solicitor, you need to talk to Derek, because Derek's the guy, and it's about being front of mind. And this is one of those things you can do where you can show your expertise, you're front of mind, you can start building relationships, but have conversations as well.
100%, and that is that's the crux of it, and that's the huge benefit, because I run 2 small businesses, and my time's really tight, and I can't always be available to go to networking events and things like that. So something like Twitter Spaces, which is why I've just grabbed onto it, and I'm running with it, and I've met so many amazing people and amazing business women from around the world. There's sort of potential talks about things that are going to happen, collaborations and stuff, which is great because it's exposure for not just for me and my business, but it's for their business as well. But also it's people working together. And I think it gives everybody a voice without having that, that feeling that you've got to get Zoom ready. You've got to be, and also the focus is on what you have to say, not what you look like. And it takes that pressure off.
Yeah, one of the things that I particularly like about social audio is the fact that there's a lack of distraction.
100%.
So one of you go on and you listen, and you haven't got there's no chat and where people are going and and buy my product and and it's like, look, I'm here to listen. I don't want all of that distraction. And I think one of the things for me is that you go on and you listen, and then obviously you're allowed to debate as well.
Yeah, I think the good thing, and this is what when we were discussing our experiences with Clubhouse, is, for example, if you wanted to start a weekly room for your company for DLA Ignite, and you wanted to do like 30 minutes, because there is spaces like this that are 30 minutes, sort of at the end of the week, or at the beginning of the week, catch up, synopsis of what's been going on, that kind of thing. People come in, have a chat, swap and change, and change up things, what's been going on, that kind of stuff, reconnect. If you wanted to do that and you did that on a weekly basis, and people started to sort of know who you are through doing Twitter Spaces, therein you remain front of mind. So when you're talking about what it is you do and what your service is, maybe the person in the room doesn't have a need for your service, but somebody else does, or someone that they know does, and they've heard you speak, then you're front of mind. And then they'll be, well, I heard this guy talking the other day, Tim, here he is, we've connected on Twitter, I've been listening to him, he's brilliant, get in contact with him.
And how do we get and that's exactly how we're talking.
Yeah,
because Keith Keller has recommended you to me.
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you, Keith. But it's just one of the ways the business has always worked.
Yeah,
business can work using social at scale by doing that. For those who don't know, Keith Keller is in Melbourne in Australia.
Yeah,
Tricia and I are both in the UK.
Yeah,
but Keith has connected me to Tricia, who probably doesn't live that far away from me. But I didn't know her until Keith said, "Oh, you need to talk to Tricia about Twitter Spaces."
Do you know what? Hi, Keith. We met last year during lockdown through Twitter, the power of Twitter. And we took it offline. And it was every Sunday. We did this for months, every Sunday evening, because obviously they're hours ahead of us. So it would be early for him, late for us. And we spoke about Twitter, marketing, all sorts of things. And we've just developed our relationship. So we've been recommending each other because we've gotten to know, like, and trust each other. We both know what we're talking about. We both have respect for each other. And that's how this sort of partnership came about. So, yes, thank you very much, Keith. We've also... I introduced Keith to Twitter Spaces. I tried to get him to do Clubhouse. He wasn't having any of it. And he's gone with it. He's like the go-to person in terms of, he's really good with the tech. Me, not so much, but I'm good with the relationship building and the strategy and all that kind of stuff. So that's just another perfect example of Twitter working and being able to grow your business, but also to grow your brand, whether that's your personal brand or your business's brand.
Yeah. So in summary, Twitter Spaces, great to build relationships. You can build relationships globally. demonstrates your expertise. As you say, it's a safe space, or it was deemed to be a safe space. It certainly seems to be far more safer. I used to find Clubhouse, you get people coming on and they were just the individuals. I just found them, I didn't like them.
Yeah.
There was too much of people coming on saying, oh yeah, I'm this person, and you'll know me because my song on TikTok went viral within 3 seconds, and it's like, no, I don't know who you are.
No.
And I'm here to find out and get information and to learn stuff, not to hear about how brilliant you are.
Yeah, you don't have that, and there's lots of sort of checks and balances and safety measures and stuff in Twitter Spaces, and Twitter monitor that as well. And the brilliant thing is, and this is the other thing, if you miss, now they've started, they've rolled out recordings last week, actually, over the last sort of 10 days. So, for example, if you started a weekly session, you want to do half an hour, whatever it is, and you can choose, what it's going to be. Like, for example, if you did this on Twitter as well, and you did a hashtag Tim Talk, and what it's about, people can come along, they can join. If they happen to miss it for whatever reason, and you've recorded it, which it will automatically record it, people can go back and catch the replay, and it's on there for 30 days.
So I stream this to Twitter, but it's not part of Twitter Spaces. That's the difference. Yeah,
you could. That's what they're working on at the moment, is being able to simultaneously do all of it, and being able to turn a Twitter Spaces, a session into a podcast. But also you can go back in and click watch, where it says record. You'll see it, and you can just click on that, and you can listen to the space that you've missed, so your followers won't miss out on the content that you're sharing. So it's brilliant. There's just so much to it. And if it seems sort of, insurmountable, it really isn't. You just have to sort of kind of grab the reins and go for it, and just sort of jump in and out of rooms. And I think the good thing about it is there isn't all of that kind of stuff going on with Twitter Spaces, but also it's, if you can get in, come 2022, it's going to get really, really crowded in there.
So as a beginner, what you would recommend is you just go and listen.
100%. Go in, listen, navigate, see what's happening in all the different spaces. There's just so much value in the spaces, but also it's not, people don't go into a space to sell at you or to sell things. It's about building a community and building your authority and your brand authority, your personal brand. It's about networking. It's about collaborations. It's about sharing information, welcoming people into your world, into your space, and giving you a platform, or a business owner a platform to be able to position themselves and talk about their business, to be able to share their knowledge, which otherwise you wouldn't be able to do that. And it just takes, you could do that speaking for 5 minutes, which could take you months on social media, creating content on Instagram or whatever it is, static content. You can get over that hurdle immediately by doing a Twitter Spaces, or raising your hand to speak in a Twitter Space if you want to contribute, if you want to ask a question, if you want to run your own room. There's rooms in there spaces on there about dogs. It's brilliant. There's just something for everybody. But I think the main thing is that I want people to take away from talking about Twitter Spaces for small business owners is get in there, join a space, see what's happening, listen, get involved, don't get involved, see what's happening, see how you can make it work for you. The second thing I would say is work it into your marketing mix, because social audio is going to be really big for 2022, more so with Twitter Spaces than anything else. But also it's a chance for you to grow your community and to network. As a business owner, you don't have the time, so it's a good idea to find the things that you like doing, dip your toes, and then start planning forward, maybe depending on what your business goals are, of starting your own spaces, building your own community and growing your own brand. But also it helps you build confidence, speaking confidence, particularly if you want to be a speaker.
Yeah.
TEDx talk, that kind of thing. There are TEDx rooms.
Right. Okay. Tricia, sorry, but time is up. It
I know.
goes very, very quickly. Remind people where they can get hold of you again.
You can get hold of me on Twitter. So I am Tricia Marketing, Tricia, Tricia Marketing. I'm on Instagram as Tricia C Marketing, LinkedIn and Facebook. But the best place to get me is either LinkedIn, send me a direct message, or find me on Twitter. My DMs are open, so send me a DM and let's get chatting, see what we can do together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, Tricia, and sharing your experience about Twitter Spaces. It's an amazing. It's amazing how fast Twitter have got that up and running in terms of the development.
Yeah, and I've grown my business from it as well. So
right.
I speak from experience.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.